Hi everyone, I'm Glenn from the Code Code, and today I'll be talking about how to communicate with your partner/spouse in a warm, loving and assertive manner. I want to remind you all that these are based on my principles and my experiences throughout life. So let's go! I'll begin this video with giving some tips, then I'll be naming the principles and giving examples on how I handle things now. And then I'll end the video with some exercises you can try out for yourself. Normally, I would give you examples of how I used to communicate in intimate relationships. Sadly, there are none, because I used to keep people at a distance, including potential partners, because I was convinced that I had to protect myself and not leave myself open to get hurt. So usually, with the first sign that things might not go so well, I decided to push them away, because it was still better than being pushed away. And I also think I used to have a fear of connecting, bonding, and a fear of being abandoned. But I worked hard on these issues as well, and my beliefs and actions today have changed dramatically around this topic. I now believe that putting yourself out there and exposed is a very strong thing to do. And now I don't only know what I bring to the table, I am very comfortable with being close to people. And I enjoy it immensely. But in the future I'll probably make a video on how I overcame these problems. So for now, let's continue with this video. I'll give some tips, we'll go over the principles, and we'll end with some exercises. So the first tip is, when your spouse opens up to you about something that you have done that she or he didn't like, start by listening. Don't immediately start with just defending yourself. So listen, ask questions so you get to understand where she's coming from and how that situation made them feel. At the end, you can explain yourself and talk about it. So listen first, react later. Tip numero dos. Never take problems to bed. Always talk things out before you go to sleep. Procrastinating to do so will only make it more difficult the next day. And if you do this, it will have a positive effect on the quality of your sleep. The third tip is a book recommendation. The book is called How to Be a 3% Man by Coach Corey Wayne. You can buy his book or you can read it for free on his website if you subscribe to his weekly newsletter. Coach Corey Wayne also comes from a family where showing affections and talking about emotions was a rare occurrence. But yet, his book has taught me so much on how you should carry yourself when dating and being in a relationship. Don't worry, if you're in my Facebook group, this will be a book of the month for sure at some point. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, you're very welcome to do so. We have a lot of fun, interesting topics and articles and members with a similar mindset. So these were all tips. Now let's go over the principles. The first one is, by acknowledging your partner's feeling, you're creating a safe space to share. The second one is give, without expecting anything in return. And the last one is, make a habit out of talking about the little things. Now I'll give an example of how I handle these things and explain it a bit more. So the first principle is, by acknowledging your partner's feelings, you create a safe space to share. At some point I was sitting on the couch with my ex-girlfriend, and she started opening up about something that I said about her that made her feel hurt. My immediate response was to try and defend myself or explain myself, but I didn't. I realized it wouldn't help my case. On the contrary. So I turned myself completely towards her because I wanted to listen and understand what exactly I said that made her feel hurt. When she was done talking, I said that I was grateful that she decided to bring it up because I had no idea my words came across like that. And that wasn't my intention. Then I apologized because even though it wasn't my intention, it was the effect of my words. And then I went on and I said everything that she said to me. I gave it a little bit back. So I said to her, when I said that, it made you feel like this. Am I correct? Am I understanding you correctly? After our chat, she gave me a hug. But I still continue with saying that in the future I will choose my words with more care. But if it does occur, and it probably will, it's nice to know that she will just let me know. And then I get a kiss. Principle number 2. Give without expecting anything in return. This one is fairly obvious, isn't it? But it basically means that you don't create expectations when you're doing something nice for your partner, spouse, pretty much everyone. With my last girlfriend, I would occasionally try to surprise her. She's a major chocolate lover. So one Easter, I bought these little chocolate eggs and I hid them in her living room for her to try and find. She had so much fun looking for them. Once in a while, I would surprise her with a breakfast on bed. And I even helped her to make her meal prep since she started going to the gym. Well, actually, I made them and I told her to go relax on the couch. But it doesn't always have to be these grand gestures, right? Sometimes I would just compliment her and that made her day. Or I would send a little text wishing her good luck on important days at work. Or when she had to give a presentation, which I know she doesn't like to do. And it showed that I was thinking of her and I gave her a little bit of support. And all these things I just did because I wanted to give to her. I never expected anything in return. She did give a lot back though, and of course you have to be aware of how and what your partner is giving you. But just don't expect it as a return for what you give. The third principle is to make a habit to talk about the little things. With little things, I mean the small events that seem insignificant, but you end up carrying them with you. It's very important to talk about those, otherwise they'll become bigger and they keep adding up until you go off on a tantrum while your partner doesn't know what's going on. The situation in the first principle is a good example. My ex-girlfriend noticed she was carrying it, so she decided to talk about it, which she was able to let it go and she felt better. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to have a long conversation every time you bring something small up, right? Just naming it or having a short chat for like 5 minutes can be enough. The key here is to not let it build up frustration, because once you let it build up frustration, it will have a negative impact on how you behave towards your partner. So we have reached the exercises. The first exercise that I'm going to give you this week is when you notice something is building up inside you, or you can't let it go because someone said something or did something that you didn't like, initiate a conversation. But remember, bring it in a respectful manner, because you only control yourself. How the other person reacts to that is out of your control. The second exercise is to try and surprise your partner. Do something nice and do it without expecting anything in return. And also try to be a bit more aware of what she's doing for you. And if you notice something that you didn't notice before, give some extra appreciation. So these are the exercises that I have for you this week. We have come to the end of the video. So, I'm Glenn from Code Code. Thanks for watching, and let's work together to get you closer to the life that you want to lead. Take care.